So either by reading or talking or, imitating.
Imitating.
Yeah, imitating is very, very important. Like, down, for example, D-O-W-N. A lot of Chinese here, or Taiwanese here, would say something like this, dang, instead of down, okay? Downtown. You have to learn to mimic them before you know it. You will be surprised to find that you're making rapid progress. I don't care about the mistakes I made. I learned to speak English with them by offering to wash their cars.
你可以小先短短的自我介绍吗？
OK，我姓赖，世界的世，英雄的雄，赖世雄。
You said you learned English from just self-study and
Yeah.
being here in the 60s during the Vietnam War. Can
Yeah.
you tell me about who you came into contact with then?
Well, that time I failed to pass the entrance examination for universities here in Taiwan. So I went to a military academy not very far from here in Beizhou. Originally, I knew nothing about English. And then I decided to learn English simply because I just found that those American soldiers walking on the street might give me a very good chance to learn English. Only on Sunday could I have a chance, to practice my English. And I decided that I'd go to a place called Tianmu. That time there were a lot of American soldiers over there. So I learned to speak English with them by offering to wash their cars.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you would wash their car and then they would teach you English?
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, step by step, before I knew it, I was able to speak English, and I was very happy. And then after I graduated, I went to a National Defense Language Center, which also belonged to the Ministry of National Defense here in Taiwan. And I stayed in the school for about 2 years before I had a chance to win a scholarship to study in the United States. I stayed there for less than 2 years, and I was in a PhD program before I knew that my first wife, was seriously ill. 6 years ago, she passed away. And now this lady actually used to be my schoolmate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she stayed single. I don't know. Probably God, made her choose to stay single, or waiting for me, or something like that.
I'm surprised your accent is so good, because many people from your generation, when they speak English, have a very strong accent. So how were you able to make it so clear? This would be a good suggestion to all young Taiwanese people.
Beautiful.
learning English.
Whenever possible, I expose myself, to, speaking English, or native speakers of English. So either by reading or talking or imitating.
Imitating.
Yeah, imitating is very, very important. Like, down, for example, D-O-W-N. A lot of Chinese here, or Taiwanese here, would say something like this, dang, instead of down, okay? Downtown. You have to learn to mimic them before you know it. You will be surprised to find that you're making rapid progress. If you have a chance, for example, to give a speech, something like that in public, you have to force yourself to think that in front of you, there's no one. Yeah. So when you feel that way, then feel confident of yourself.
Do you find that it was harder to learn a language before the internet because the resources were less?
Oh, I would say before, we had the internet, it was very difficult. You had to stay persevering. And now that the internet offers almost anything that is available and for free, okay?
Yeah.
So, you have a lot of channels through which you can learn beautiful English. But that time, back in the 1960s, we had almost nothing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
we
was
had
radio or?
The radio, of course, helped me to some extent.
Yeah.
But talking to myself, building up the atmosphere where you learn to talk to yourself, this is most important.
Talking to yourself in English.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Role playing. Reading can really help your English improve a lot. If you bother to paraphrase the meaning of the articles that you have read.
Oh, interesting.
By doing so, you can use your own words to describe the situation or the contents. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So is that what you did when you first came in contact with Americans?
Oh, yes.
You would pretend like
Yeah.
they weren't there? Or
Yeah, exactly. And also, I would appreciate it very much if they could correct me in terms of pronunciation or some other things that have to do with English, okay? So I feel very happy about that.
That they were willing to
And
correct?
I don't care about mistakes I made, Actually, without making mistakes, there's no way you can make progress.
So can you correct my Chinese?
我没办法. You speak perfect Chinese.
Oh, wow. I would like to believe that, but thank you. I appreciate it. 谢谢.
泰德，很高兴见到你。
Peter?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.